Summer of 2022, when everything began to unravel. In the heart of Savannah Springs, Georgia, a town where community and faith ran deep, stood Greater Hope Missionary Baptist Church, a pillar of hope for its people. But what no one knew was that this place of worship was about to become the setting for a scandalous betrayal that would tear lives apart and leave the entire town in shambles. At the heart of Greater Hope stood Pastor Malcolm Jordan, a man of God and a man of the people. At just 43 years old, he was a charismatic leader, a beloved spiritual guide who connected deeply with his congregation. Beside him was his wife, First Lady Laverne Jordan, who at 41 radiated elegance and grace. Laverne was admired for her kindness and sophistication, often leading church programs, mentoring younger members, and supporting her husband in his ministry. The Jordans were Greater Hope, a couple deeply in love, wholly devoted to their church. But beneath that, love lay secrets that no one ever imagined. Enter Monica Reed. At 28, Monica was a striking young woman, vibrant but burdened by the trials of life. On the outside, she had everything together, her natural beauty, her stylish outfits, her bright smile. But on the inside, Monica was fighting a battle. Married to Desmond Reed, who was 35, Monica's life was anything but a fairy tale. Desmond had once been the man of her dreams, loving, supportive, ambitious. But as life dealt blow after blow, Desmond became distant, frustrated, and angry. He struggled to find steady work, to make ends meet, and in those struggles, his love for Monica felt like it was slipping away. One night, Monica found herself aimlessly flipping through channels on the TV, trying to escape the tension at home. That's when she saw it, a commercial for Greater Hope Church, the choir singing, Pastor Malcolm's voice inviting everyone to come find peace, love, and community. The words struck a chord with Monica, and she found herself thinking, maybe this is what we need. So, the following Sunday, she convinced Desmond to come with her, just to see what the church was like. When they walked through the doors of Greater Hope, Monica felt something she hadn't felt in a long time. Warmth, joy, a sense of belonging. The music was powerful, the praise was overwhelming, and Pastor Malcolm's sermon seemed to speak directly to her soul. Even Desmond, initially skeptical, felt at ease. A rare feeling for him. The church welcomed them with open arms, and before long, Desmond found himself bonding with the pastor. It became their sanctuary, their escape from all the chaos at home. The anointing, as they called it, filled the air like a heavy fragrance. It was beautiful, intoxicating. Monica and Desmond left that day feeling lighter, more hopeful than they had in months. And so they came back, week after week, finding a new home within the walls of Greater Hope. Desmond, in his search for steady work, often confided in Pastor Malcolm, who promised to help him get back on his feet, and the church stepped up. Members rallied around Desmond, helping him find job opportunities, and until something stable came in, they allowed him to perform small jobs around the church. He'd fix things that were broken, help with setting up for services, and lend a hand wherever he could. It gave Desmond purpose, a place where he felt appreciated, respected, and Pastor Malcolm encouraged him every step of the way, becoming a mentor, a friend. Monica felt comfort in knowing that Desmond was finding his place, and for a while, things seemed to get better. But underneath the surface, her personal struggles remained, struggles that would soon draw her closer and closer to Pastor Malcolm, in ways neither of them could have predicted. As time went on, Monica became more involved with church duties, spending increasing time at Greater Hope. After services, she'd often find herself confiding in Pastor Malcolm and First Lady Laverne, sharing the troubles of her strained marriage and the emptiness she felt. Laverne would listen closely, offering heartfelt advice, a comforting prayer, or simply a shoulder to lean on. Malcolm, always the strong and reassuring leader, assured Monica that her struggles were only a chapter in her life and that God had a greater plan for her. But as the weeks went on, Monica began to find more and more reasons to stay late after service. She would tell Desmond that she had church duties to take care of, things that only she could handle. At first, Desmond would volunteer to wait around for her while she worked, staying to help out wherever needed. But Monica would insist, assuring him that it wasn't necessary, that Pastor Malcolm and First Lady Laverne could drive her home. Eventually, the excuses became more frequent. Monica began driving her own car to church, citing the need to stay late or arrive early for her commitments. Desmond, trusting his wife and seeing how involved she was becoming with the church, never questioned it. At least, not at first. Soon, the First Lady had other commitments that kept her from being able to meet Monica and the pastor, and from then on, it was just Malcolm and Monica. What started as a supportive ear from a pastor turned into something more. Something they both knew was dangerous, but neither could resist. The late-night counseling sessions, the intimate conversations about life and dreams. They became moments that both of them craved. Pastor Malcolm found himself opening up to Monica in ways he never had before, not even to Laverne. And Monica, she felt seen, heard, understood, and most dangerously, loved. It didn't take long for those glances to turn into touches, those touches to turn into stolen kisses, and those kisses to turn into something neither of them could walk away from. They fell into an affair that felt electric, thrilling, but it was only a matter of time before the thrill would come crashing down. And like all secrets, this one began to unravel. Rumors started to spread throughout Greater Hope, whispers of how close Pastor Malcolm and Monica had become, the way they'd meet in private after hours, the way their conversations seemed more than friendly. But Laverne, with all her wisdom, never saw it. She had her brief moments of doubt but dismissed them, trusting her husband completely, believing he was simply helping a struggling member of their church find her way. Desmond, however, noticed the change. Whenever Pastor Malcolm called, Monica would either leave the room entirely to speak privately, or if she stayed, she would choose her words so carefully. It was as if she was afraid to say too much. There was something different about how she spoke, how she'd try to cut the conversation short, or how she'd look over her shoulder to see if Desmond was listening. It was enough to make his stomach churn with suspicion. Desmond confronted Monica, of course, but she'd always brush him off. "It's just church business, Desmond. Nothing more." He wanted to believe her, but the late nights, the secretive calls, and the carefully chosen words were too much to ignore. One night, after yet another church meeting, Desmond decided to find out the truth for himself. Monica lay asleep, and Desmond, driven by a gut feeling, took her phone and began to scroll. And there it was, all laid bare. The texts between her and Pastor Malcolm, the confessions of love, the plans for secret meetups. In one instant, Desmond's world crumbled. The man he trusted as his spiritual leader was having an affair with his wife. Desmond's mind raced with rage, with heartbreak, with thoughts of revenge. The betrayal ate away at him like poison, and all he could see was red. Sunday came, a day like any other at Greater Hope Church. The service ended, and the congregation slowly made their way home, leaving only Malcolm and Laverne in the office, tidying up for the evening. Unbeknownst to them, Monica had also stayed behind, her excuse being that she wanted to speak with the pastor and First Lady after service about her struggles. But as Laverne stepped out of the room to grab something from another area of the church, the calm was shattered when Desmond stormed in. Desmond's face twisted with fury and pain, eyes locked on Pastor Malcolm. "How could you?" Desmond shouted, voice breaking with rage and heartbreak. "How could you do this to me? To her? To us?" Malcolm's face paled, the realization of what was happening taking over. while Monica, hearing the commotion, came rushing back into the room too. Malcolm's face paled, the realization of what was happening taking over, while Monica, hearing the commotion, came rushing back into the room to find herself face to face with Desmond's rage. Desmond's fury was a storm ready to unleash, and before Malcolm could speak a word of defense, Desmond reached into his jacket and pulled out a gun. "You destroyed my life," Desmond said, his voice trembling. "And now I'm going to destroy yours." Before anyone could stop him, Desmond fired the first shot, hitting Malcolm straight in the chest. The sound of the bullet echoed through the church halls as the pastor fell to the floor, eyes wide with shock and regret. Laverne's scream cut through the silence as she ran back into the room. Desmond's eyes turned to Monica, who stood frozen, tears streaming down her face. "You lied to me," he whispered, and with that, the second shot rang out, ending Monica's life before she could utter a word. And then silence. Desmond, his chest heaving with rage and regret, stood for just a moment, looking at what he'd done. He turned the gun on himself, and the third and final shot rang out, sealing the tragedy that would haunt Savannah Springs forever. When the dust settled, only Laverne was left to bear the weight of what happened. The love of her life lay dead before her eyes, the shock of the scene replaying over and over in her mind. She couldn't comprehend it, how the church, her marriage, everything she had built her life upon, had come crumbling down in a moment of rage and betrayal. The days that followed were filled with sorrow, confusion, and isolation. Greater Hope Church, once the center of the community's faith, became a place of whispered scandal and hushed cries. And Laverne, grieving, alone, found herself questioning everything: her faith, her marriage, and all the moments that led to this unthinkable end. For weeks, she walked through the hallways of the church like a ghost, carrying the burden of a tragedy that wasn't hers to bear but fell upon her shoulders. Every member of the congregation who met her eyes carried that look, the look that wondered what she knew, whether she had been complicit or simply a victim of circumstances. The support that once surrounded her felt thin and fragile, and Laverne, for the first time in her life, felt completely alone. The town, meanwhile, was left reeling. A beloved pastor, a young woman seeking love, and a man broken by betrayal, all gone in a single act of rage. Friends turned to enemies, families became divided, and the town found itself questioning everything: love, faith, trust. And as for Laverne, she was left to pick up the pieces, to mourn a husband who was not the man she thought he was, and to find a way to move forward in the wreckage of a life destroyed by secrets. Secrets have power. They destroy, they consume, they unravel lives. And in the case of Greater Hope, that power left a trail of loss, betrayal, and death. This is the story of a love that never should have been, and the terrible price that was paid. Because sometimes the truth is far more dangerous than any lie. Thank you for tuning in to this true crime story. We hope you were captivated by the twists and turns of this tragic tale. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe for more gripping stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat. This story is based on true events, though the names and some details have been fictionalized and changed for privacy and safety. All characters are representations, and the events have been adapted for entertainment purposes. Stay tuned for more, and take care.